Back home after a week in Texas hunting and had a great trip. I got 2 deer and I brought back 1 hog, but I didn't kill the hog, my friend did. I did not see one single hog. They just weren't around. We don't really know why. My friend has a theory because a neighbor's dogs showed up one day on the property and they wonder if the dogs had run all the hogs off. Also, it was a full moon and we wonder if that did some of it, but saw lots and lots of deer, and I got 2, but I did not see a single hog. And as I said, my friend, the host, we went to different stands most of the time. He actually shot 2. One of them got away and we didn't find it till the next day, dead in the creek, and we didn't want anything to do with that meat. But he got 1, shot it right through the head, and we got that meat, and he gave it to me because he gets all he wants. But it was still such a wonderful time, because not only spending time with my good friend, but being out in the woods and just hanging out in a stand and walking the woods. It was just a wonderful trip. So what I want to do, as I'm unloading my car, I want to go through some of the stuff and do my pros and cons, kind of an after action. And the first one I want to talk about is my chest rig. And if you're one of my 5 faithful, you know how much I worried over this thing, and I bored y'all to death with, what, I'm going to take this, or this is going to go here. And I ended up very happy with how it worked out, except for one thing. This pouch, which I took in order to keep my phone in, the Velcro just didn't cut it. I ended up wanting to use my phone a lot more than I thought, because I didn't realize we would be communicating through text message. And we did. Somebody needs to invent a hunter's texting machine, so that you can be up in the deer stand and texting with your fellow hunters, because you don't want to make a phone call, obviously. That would be one-handed or something, because sometimes it got a little hairy trying to text up in a deer stand. But this thing didn't work because I didn't want my phone in there and making all that noise. So this I took off very quickly and chunked it, and I ended up putting a second canteen pouch right here just to carry a couple of waters. And that worked fine. That worked great. Everything worked wonderful other than that. The binos were great. I was able to get to all my stuff. I ended up hooking this little lens cleaner on here because, between the optics on the guns and the binos, I end up having to, clean off my optics. So everything worked wonderful. The blood light, it didn't work, and this is why. There's a lichen or a moss, a ground moss, that glows just like the blood does. And also there's a sticker that glows red. And when we saw blood, we were able to make it out pretty much anyway. And when we were looking for the blood trail that one time, we couldn't find it. But we found everything else. I mean, like I said, the lichen glows like blood. So at least in that location, this didn't do me a lot of good. It's a great light, and I used it as a flashlight. But as a blood light, it didn't do that great. And usually I have a headlamp around my neck, so I didn't use it very much. Everything else worked wonderful. I'm very happy with my chest rig. And what I think I may do is I may buy a second one of these and actually wire it permanently, because this is a removable piece, and wire it permanently for hunting, and just have a hunting chest rig. I'm seriously considering that, because I was very, very happy with how that all worked. So this was a pro. The con was this bad boy. I am anti-Velcro now, at least for hunting. I'm probably going to take this Velcro off, just because sometimes the stickers would the cords would stick to them. I'm anti-Velcro. I'm taking off all Velcro because it just makes too much noise, and it also attracts stickers, which is, I think, the inspiration for Velcro, if I remember correctly. In the pro category, I've got to include my Rocky snake boots. I picked these up sometime last year at Cabela's. They were actually on sale or clearance, I can't remember which. And these are pretty tall snake boots. They're waterproof, and I hadn't really worn them much before I went on this trip, and they were great. I love these boots. They're not insulated, so you had to wear some thick socks if you didn't want your feet to get cold. But I really enjoyed them. They were just easy to throw on. They stood up to everything I got into. And sometimes we were waiting. Well, there was a time or two where we waited, and I hoped the water wasn't going to come over the boot. So, I mean, they got really wet. One thing I wish I'd done is carried a old toothbrush, because I got so much mud encrusted in these into the zipper threads that I had to clean them before I could zip them up. There was so much mud caked on there, and a nice toothbrush just for kind of GP would have come in handy. I ended up having to clean it with my fingers, just kind of working my fingers into those grooves and stuff. But that, I mean, it was caked on mud. That's the kind of stuff we were into. The patrol pack was another big positive. This little pack was all I needed. It usually stayed in either with me and going to the stands, or it stayed in the 4x4. And what's great is it's small enough that I'm able to lift it up via a cord into a tree stand if I need to, and it can just dangle right there on the side of the tree stand, and I can get to it. It's just, if you get a chance to pick up one of these little ones, do so. It's just a great little pack. It's really all I needed for the kind of stuff I was doing. Unfortunately, we did not get to make our trek across the river, and the river had risen. It had rained somewhere, and the river had risen, and we just decided that we didn't know how we'd get back over if we got over to begin with, and we just could not find a way to get over there. We didn't have a boat or a canoe or anything. We couldn't figure a way to get over there without possibly getting dunked. And if the river kept rising, then we might be into some trouble and have to go on a long hike. So I never did get a chance to use the day pack that attaches to the bottom of this pack that had all my overnight stuff. But yeah, just a great little pack. I don't have much in the way of cons for this trip. I mean, I hate that I didn't see any hogs, but that's really, I mean, that's not something I can plan for or blame, really. One thing I did do is, and I don't know if you can see I'm healing up good now, but you know, we process the meat ourselves, and I've been processing the meat now that I'm home, and I cut myself quite a bit, and I wish I'd brought, I've got a couple of those, I don't know if they're Kevlar or whatever they are, but I've got a couple of those gloves, that anti-cut gloves, and I wish I'd brought a couple of them. And next year I'm going to make sure that I bring one of those gloves, because my my left hand got wounded several times, and actually that one got I thought was getting infected, but it finally healed up. But that's one thing I would change, is I'm going to get myself a good skinning kit by next year, if I can find such a thing. I've researched it already, and it seems like most of the skinning kits are pretty cheap. But a good skinning kit and a blade-resistant glove, and that'll help a lot. Other than that, well, just a wonderful trip. Just a wonderful trip. So just to wrap up this video, had a great time. Didn't have any real major problems other than not seeing enough pigs, but got a great amount of meat. 2 deer and a pig. Finally got them all processed, and just couldn't be happier to have overfull ice chest and freezers full of meat that I know where it came from. I know how it was killed, packaged, and combined with my meat chickens, I'm really thinking that we're going to be very close this year to not buying any store-bought meat. And I'm not saying that's cheaper, not at all, but it just really gives me a sense of preparedness and self-sufficiency, that I am learning how to process meat that I kill, and there's a sense of independence to it. Hey, thanks for watching.